listening to The Mid.
Good evening, Wendy.
Good evening, Teresa.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm quickly throwing in some Google research. Give me 1 second. Oh, I'm joking. Um, all right. So today's a little different. Well, first of all, how's your week? How's your week? You good?
My weekend was fantastic.
Did you spend it with the best person ever?
I did.
That's just a coincidence, because so did I. We had a good time, posted our
We
tobogganing
did. That was
video.
awesome.
Yeah, had
Yep.
good times. We let
Yep.
Wendy's birthday extravaganza go on.
Yeah. All the way to Sunday.
Oh, yeah, Sunday when you drove through, what is it? One of the worst
Yeah.
storms on record.
I think so. That was brutal.
Maniacs. Yeah.
Yep. Took a long
But
time
you're
to get home, but we
alive.
got home safe and sound. Thank goodness.
Good.
Yeah,
All right. Are you ready for me to dive in?
I am.
So this was a little different, and just, we're only what episode?
Episode 11.
11, 11.
11.
So
11.
at 11 episodes in, we're starting to have some talks about format, what's working, what's not working. And
Yep.
we love the questions. I like, the element of asking questions and diving a little deeper into those things. We love our guest segments, right? We're going into our second one next week. We just got off of a meeting with our guest for next week, and
We
that's
did.
super exciting. And we've got some ideas for season two. But right now, one of the things we're going to kind of shift into while we're in season one still is there's going to be times when we cannot keep the question secret because
Yes.
we need the other person to do a little bit of thinking about it. And otherwise, we run the risk of having a very short conversation in some cases too, right? Like with a really flat question or,
or horrible editing with really long pauses.
or we could just name the movies that we like from the 80s. So there's a lot of things that could happen. So this week, love is in the air. It's February. A lot of people like Valentine's Day. I'm not one of them, but I can appreciate anything that celebrates love. So in that vein, I asked Wendy to do something. I asked her to take a quiz, and the quiz was on love languages. Had you ever
Yes.
heard of love languages before? Were
I
you
have.
familiar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you
Very
know?
vaguely familiar. I didn't know much about it.
And some people might not. Some people might have read the book. So it was a book originated the idea from a book written by Dr. Gary Chapman, and I took this straight from the website. So just be aware of that. It was a simple idea that different people with different personalities give and receive love in different ways. And that by learning to recognize these preferences in yourself and loved ones, you can learn to identify the root of your conflicts, connect more profoundly, and truly begin to grow closer. So that was, the impetus. And since then, I think, if you Google love languages, there's quizzes that come up from all sorts of websites, all sorts of people have latched onto this. And it's, I went right to his website for the quiz because I wanted the OG quiz. And now I noticed on his website also offers some insights into the languages. I don't know if you want to call it still love languages of people at your workplace. So how to best communicate with people at your work or recognize them. And then also how to handle conflict. So, I thought it was interesting. It's an interesting thing to bring up. And so we've each done the quiz. And what it does is there's 5 love languages, and in no particular order, they are acts of service. So someone doing something for you, like this weekend, if someone shoveled the driveway and that was your job, that would be an act of service, right? Someone doing something physical to serve you. Quality time, spending quality time with your partner, not necessarily doing anything special, but just the actual time. Physical touch in any way, romantic, non-romantic, a hand on your back. I was going to say something really rude. A tulip on your organ, however you like to receive that love. And then finally, words of affirmation. So words that reaffirm someone's love for you or things about you that are to be celebrated.
Right.
So the quiz then takes your answers. I can't remember how many questions it was, and then tells you what order, I guess, the strongest response that you give and what your love languages are. And I know I heard you say afterwards, like you sent me an email afterwards saying,
Yeah.
but I was really split. I was too. I was really split on some of them, but I kept having to remember, like, this isn't, you don't just have one love language, you have all five. It's just which,
Okay.
and it might be by
Do
varying
you lean more
degrees.
towards?
Yeah, and the one disclaimer is that and on this quiz, it only gives you the percentage of your highest because it wants you to buy like an
Yeah.
in-depth analysis, right? Which we didn't
Yeah.
do. But I'm going to share something with you that's really hilarious.
Okay. I have something to share too.
Did you lie?
Go on. No, I didn't
Don't.
lie.
Okay. So because it'll really take the wind out of the sails of what I'm about to say to you if you've lied.
No, I haven't lied. Okay,
Okay.
say what you're going to say.
Okay. So our scores for our number one love language were exactly the same, and they're the exact same love language.
Seriously?
We both scored 27% for words of affirmation. And my
Really?
immediate response to that was like, whoa, do we have bad self-esteem? It's like, we must think we're losers and we need to hear that we're not losers
I did
all
it.
the
Oh my
time.
God.
That was my first thought. Okay,
Oh
fess
my
up. What are
God.
you going to tell me?
That's hilarious. Exactly the same match. That's too funny.
Exactly, 27%.
Wow. So, okay, my confession is I did the test, but I did it two times. Yes.
Because you didn't
The
like the
first time,
results?
no, it wasn't that I didn't like the results, but I was so torn on the answers and I kind of like sped through it. And so I did it again and really thought about my answers. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? So the one I sent you is definitely the most accurate, but I'm definitely torn between
Me too.
three, actually, between
Which
three.
ones?
So words of affirmation for sure, but then also acts of service and gifts.
Well, I really struggled
As
with the gifts. I felt like a real selfish prig too, because I'm going through it going, oh, do I want to be hugged or do I want to be bought a gift? And I'm like, I know the correct answer and I know how I feel. But so what was do you have it? I mean, I have it. I can look it up too. Do you know your
what?
results, the other four, what order they fell in? I
Oh
have
no,
it
I didn't
right
even
here.
look. I didn't think you could see it.
Well, I can see the order in which they fell in, but I cannot
Oh,
see
okay.
your percentages. Okay.
Okay.
So I have yours right here. Your answer was 27% words of affirmation, followed by physical touch, tulips on your organ, followed by receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. So this is where we differ. Our second is both physical touch,
Okay.
followed by then I'm quality time, whereas you're receiving gifts.
Yeah.
And then I'm acts of service. And then I'm receiving gifts, and your acts of service is your least.
See, that's really strange because when I was thinking about the answers, a lot of the answers I gave were like acts of service, or so I thought.
But maybe they were quality time as well. Like, I don't know. Maybe there was some.
I feel like maybe an element of gift giving is acts of service.
Well, sure. Yeah. It's a different. I mean, I think acts of service are like, I don't know. Those are pretty important things. Like,
They
there's a lot of
are.
times I don't want to do something and I'm maybe a little bit vocal about not wanting to do something. So if that message is heard and I don't have to do that thing any longer, I'm really quite pleased.
Yeah. So, okay. So, the love language thing, the quiz we took is how we like to feel, like how somebody, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
is
also
it
often how
what
we
we
show
put
love.
out?
It's both, I think. It's
Okay.
both. So I think how you like to be loved is generally how you also give love. But then the art of this or the teaching part is that if you have your partner take it as well, then you're
Yeah.
supposed to alter the way you show love to fit their preferences.
Okay. Oh, that makes
Right.
sense.
So then you
Right.
would have Chad do it, and
Yeah.
then you would say, okay, maybe it would be a surprise. Maybe words of affirmation are his. I don't know. Like maybe
Oh, his is definitely acts of service.
so it would be Do you think, so knowing this, were you surprised by any of these answers about yourself?
Yes, absolutely. I was surprised with the words of affirmation for sure.
Really?
Yeah, that really surprised me.
Does it make sense to you?
Kind of, sorta. I mean, I like to hear like compliments or, things like that. I do like to hear it, but on the day to day, that's not how my relationship really works. It's kind of both acts of service, right? Like I'll do
But
something for
maybe,
him, he'll do something for me.
so it's not just compliments, right? It's like literally what it says. It's an affirmation that you're doing well or that you're appreciated or that. So I think that can kind of go in with acts of service because someone expressing their appreciation for something you've done might somehow
Oh, okay then. Okay.
maybe tie in. I don't know. I'm not.
I always think of like words of affirmation as like compliments and
I think it's also just like, for me, I can relate it to enthusiasm about something I'm doing. So if I'm doing something at work or I've been recognized, someone saying, yes, absolutely, I knew you could do that. Or
yeah.
like, I appreciate that from friends too, I think. Right?
Okay.
Like just saying, yeah, you're really good at that. Or
Yeah.
it's like building someone up is the way I think he described it. I watched the little video because I think the video that corresponds to whatever your love language is pops up. So I watched that and I was like, oh yeah, I could totally see that I like to be built up a little bit. Like it's like you like a cheerleader, right? Someone
Yeah.
so I think that makes sense for me, but it was surprising for you.
Well, no, now that you're saying that, it actually makes a lot more sense for
Well, it's
sure.
not just you're so pretty.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I'm like, I don't need to hear that all the time.
It's
No, that
nice,
makes
but
sense then. Yeah, no, that 100% makes sense
and then
for sure.
physical touch makes sense to you as a second.
Yeah, I like a hug every now and then. I mean, as a second,
Every
I
now
don't
and
think
then.
as a second.
You may touch me bi-weekly, like a hug
Yeah,
every
no.
now and then.
Well, it was funny because given the choices, like some of them were really off from each other. Do you know what I mean? It was like, do you want a gift or like, okay, one of the questions I think was a gift after a business trip or a hug. And I'm like, of course I want a
Yeah,
hug.
yeah. No, but which would mean more to you? But okay, so I guess it's like which would show that that person, which would you feel most deeply as appreciation or love from like from your significant other?
Yeah, I was torn, to be honest. I mean, a hug for sure, and I chose a hug. But a gift also, I think I just go too deep because a gift to me is like, oh, you were thinking about me while you were away.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's fair. Receiving gifts was your third, right?
Oh, was it
So
third?
it was up pretty high. And I don't think I thought I liked receiving gifts, even though it was the last for me. But
Mm-hmm.
in some of those questions, like perhaps I was like, oh, that sounds like I'm materialistic, so I won't put it. But the gift doesn't have to be anything much. Like there's a lip balm that they don't make anymore. And that from what I can tell, I can never find it. And it's a shade, so it's a baby lips. Do you know the baby lips? I
Oh,
think L'Oreal,
yeah.
I don't know, Clairol
Yeah.
L'Oreal makes them. There's one shade and it was in the purple tube that I loved and I loved it. And mine is like you have to like put your fingernail in to get any out. And the dude will look for it wherever he is at a CVS in the US. And he'll always be like, oh, I went into CVS. I tried. That alone
Yeah.
is like you were thinking of me, you know what I like, you listen. Like I think it's more than just one thing because if you're bringing me home something that you know I will like, then it's not just that you thought of me when you were away, it's that you listened to something that I would like. Like all
Yeah.
of those things kind of tied into one.
Yeah.
So I think that they like tried to he probably tried to break it down to five things. Otherwise, more than five is probably confusing. But
But they all kind of tie into each other a little bit.
yeah. So it's funny. So this morning, I took the quiz this morning and I said, so I'm doing this, for the podcast. And I said, which do you think is my top? And the
Mhm.
dude said words of affirmation. And I was like, oh, really good. Like I didn't know that about myself. So I'm
Wow.
happy that I know. So I was like, okay, this is an interesting thing. Anyway, but I'm interested in this in terms of how it helps to inform how to give the type of love that someone would want to accept, right? Or
Yeah.
that would speak to them, I guess is the right term.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What do you think about it? Like, do you think it's something that would help you in a conflict, so to speak? So if you knew that Chad's I don't know, that his love language was, like
Acts
you
of
say,
service.
acts of service. Would that help you understand where he's coming from in a conflict or how to mend a bridge in a conflict?
Um, no.
No. Okay, well, let me put it this way.
No, I think it depends, right? I mean, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest, and I don't think I'm very good at delving
Showing love.
into. Yeah, I don't think I
Yeah.
am, honestly. And I think this comes back to our episode where we discussed vulnerability,
Okay.
right? Because I do have struggles with vulnerability, but I'm not sure how, like, if he's acts of service, how would that, like, how could I maneuver that in a conflict?
I think for me, so what I would go to is that most conflicts, in my experience, come from some sort of misunderstanding around someone's intention, or the fight is never what the fight is about, right? It's usually about someone's feelings being hurt or feeling unvalued or misunderstood. And those
Okay,
things I
yeah.
think could come back to this, right? So if something is simple, especially if you've got two people that aren't talking that much, and someone normally does something for someone, right? So coffee. Let's say every day I'm brought a coffee every morning,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and say that for 2 days in a row that didn't happen. How I interpret that versus
Mm-hmm.
what the reality of the situation might be might cause conflict, because I view acts of service as a display of love. Okay.
Okay.
So by not doing that, my read might be that's this person has stopped caring or cares for me differently or doesn't care at all because they haven't done the thing.
Right.
To them, maybe they have no idea that it's that important to me and they got busy and maybe they did something else. Maybe they walked a dog. Maybe they unloaded a dishwasher. Maybe they got caught up because they had a busy time at work. Often, I think what happens in conflict between couples is that one person is going straight to that they don't care, where the other person doesn't even see it coming. They're like, I had no idea that the coffee
Okay.
weighed that much, right? Like that the coffee weighed
That
that
makes
much, that it
sense.
that this was what that represented for you. So I'm
Right.
thinking in that way, I can think through a conflict, why someone might be feeling something or why what might have triggered them, because it's never about the coffee, right? Like it's about something
No, and
deeper.
you're right, because there was a time, I don't know, it was just like a week or so. Like, because from the day I met Chad 25 years ago, he rarely says my name. It's always love, right? And so there was a time, and I still remember it, where it was like a few days or something, and he actually was just saying my name, and it felt so weird. Like I didn't
Hmm.
like it. I felt like, why isn't he calling me love anymore? And I started getting super paranoid about it, which goes to the words of affirmation. So that makes sense, right? Yeah, no, I understand that now. Okay, that makes it clearer for sure.
So if you're in an argument with someone and so they've
Yeah,
come back from a work trip and they didn't buy you a gift, but they've
yeah,
always bought you a gift, or you were expecting a gift,
yeah,
then you might not verbalize, but you always buy me a gift. You might then get snappy about something
yeah.
else or go on
Start
them because
slamming
they've been
cupboards
away a
or,
lot, or yeah. But I think knowing this would give you pause for thought to go, hold on, what's happened in the last 24 hours or 48 hours that might be the root of this. I mean, it
yeah,
also would take the maturity in an argument to stop and think that, like to think about
yeah,
what's
which is
going
not
on.
easy.
But it also might, I think you don't just do the test. There's obviously reading involved. There's obviously like
Yeah.
an entire book this doctor has written. So there's more to it than what we're going on a surface level here. And
Hmm.
in full disclosure, I haven't read the book. I just thought this was an interesting topic in terms of, relationships,
Yeah.
February. How do you express love and how do you like to be loved? But I'm pretty sure that if you got into it and you read, I'm sure there's root causes of things. It probably comes like everything else in psychology from your childhood. And what you didn't feel you got, you now need more of, right? I mean, that's
Hmm.
for sure words of affirmation for me. I can undoubtedly say
Yeah.
I felt I was lacking in words of affirmation,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? An
Yeah.
explanation about why someone is in a mood or something is happening. I had no idea. So
Yeah.
that makes sense to me that in a relationship, in order for me to make feel safe and loved, I need to hear those words,
Yeah.
right? Or being told even that I'm good at something or doing something correctly, or someone's proud of me for something I've done at work, or like those were
Yeah.
that means a lot to me. But I think also understanding where someone was lacking in that helps you understand their behaviors. Like it's not just, oh, words of affirmation, boom. It's
Yeah.
what is the
No,
deeper meaning
it's
of that and what does that serve?
yeah, that's really smart.
What about with kids? Do you think it would make a difference in the way that you,
I think it does. And I think it makes, I made a couple of notes actually on like sort of counter questions. It's your
yeah,
question
go.
this week, but I'm wondering if it's not just for romantic relationships, if it can be applied to like friends and kids and like other members of your family, like your parents, even, you know?
Be yours. Why did these parents won't do this quiz? Damn them.
I mean, in general.
I was joking. Yes. Yeah, yeah. No, but I think actually for parents, I would have loved to know what my mother's love language was. Like
Yeah.
that would have been really helpful for me because I could have done a little bit of a, oh, okay, so this is where you felt really neglected when you were young or whatever it might have been. It might help me. I think if you read the book, like, and again, I have not read the book. I think if one reads the book, then they're getting a deeper understanding too of where someone might have, something. There's obviously deeper understanding to be had from someone's results than just the obvious, oh,
I think though, like you say that like about your mom and stuff, right? But there's no way, like I'm going to speak for myself, that at that age, at a younger age, that I would have taken that time to try and understand where my mom was coming from. Do you know what I mean?
no,
At midlife, sure.
sure. Well, that's thank God our podcast is called The Mid then.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
works.
no, for sure. It would be because I think, this is the age too where we're looking at our parents more as humans. Like I know
Yeah.
for sure the last 5 years, even though my parents have been gone long before 5 years, I've been able to look at situations they were in or decisions they made or narratives that were held through my entire life with them from a completely different view because I'm looking at them as humans and knowing, having parenting adult children as well, like knowing we're imperfect and we were brought into the world by imperfect people that had far less tools than we have now. And,
Hmm.
their own trauma, which was probably in many ways quite significant, given the times they lived
Yeah.
through and whatever, family dynamics there were then. I can look at them with a lot more empathy and consideration for what they went through and take a lot of the burden off of them for,
Yeah.
having not parented the way I wanted them
Any
to parent.
guilt.
Well,
Yeah.
sure. And we're looking at them through this lens where we've all been, even if we haven't gone to therapy, indirectly we've been therapized by social media or other people, or, like we've
Hmm.
heard therapeutic things far more than our parents would have, or,
Yeah.
that thought process has been entered into us. And I don't know if it would have been entered into our parents. If those thought
Yeah. No,
processes would have entered our parents' minds, is what I mean to say.
I don't think so.
No. So, I mean, I think that I have a lot more room for that. And knowing something like this about my mother would have absolutely quickened that. It would have helped, would have helped, would have helped me,
Opened.
Wendy. I'm playing Scrabble right now. I should really stop too, like not this minute, but I'm playing a game of Scrabble.
I thought you meant right now. I'm like,
Yeah,
can you
I'm
put
on
it
my
down for
phone.
5?
No, I really need to get this next word. Um, but I think it would have definitely opened something for me in terms of understanding with my mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And I
sure.
think the same would be, I'd be interested. I mean, kids still don't listen to anything I say. So if I asked them to do this, I'd have to ask them the specific questions in the quiz, like
Yeah.
one a week,
It would take like
probably have their
6 months
answers.
to get.
In 6 months, I might know what their love
Yeah.
languages are. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is that like these love languages change, right? Like it wouldn't be the same thing. Like I don't know if when we were 20, it would be the same thing as it is now.
I don't even think in my past, like in a past relationship, these would be the same things because
No.
you learn a lot more about yourself and your
Yeah,
needs change. Yeah, to your point, your needs
exactly.
would change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think it's an ever evolving thing.
I have a good idea. I think I'm going to read this
Okay.
book.
You know what? We need to read the book.
now I kind of want to read the book. Like I thought, okay, we can like totally launch off of this, but now I'm like, I'm interested in the psychology behind it. Like, what else can you learn about yourself?
A little note too that I found online. It was just a little blurb.
Mhm.
It just says, love languages aren't a magic fix. Even if two people speak the same language, a relationship still requires communication, trust, and effort.
Oh, for sure. I think this is just a launching point to help
Yeah.
understand something about someone. I don't think that you know them and then you never
Like it's
speak
all the
again.
answers. It's like oh, your acts of service. Okay, I don't have to do anything else except like make your coffees
Take
in the
out the
morning.
garbage. Yeah, and take
Yeah,
out the
yeah.
garbage. Awesome.
Just
It's
like
over.
that.
It's done. It's
Yeah,
perfect. I mean, I think there's some people that probably look at it that way, but no, I
yeah,
think it just I think it helps in different scenarios. Like we've talked about conflict, or if someone's going through something, it also helps to understand what might communicate how you're feeling in the
yeah,
most expedient manner or in the most meaningful way, right? Like if I
yeah.
know that someone's first language is quality time, then
Hmm.
I'm not going to ditch them if they're going through something, right? Like I know that
Exactly.
being alone is not something that they would want at that point.
Right.
Sorry, you lost your job. I'm going out tonight. Wouldn't be
Yeah.
my response.
Catch you on the flip side.
I'll bring you home a lip balm.
That said, though, I mean, even if it's like 100% words of affirmation, if my other half left me when I got fired from a job, I'd still be pissed.
Oh no, for sure. You would have to remind them that even though 27% is just, it's okay, you'll get on with your
Yeah.
life. The
There's
next
still a few more.
13% is
Yeah.
that I need your quality time as well. Yeah, and it's a combination of things. Obviously, when someone's going through something big, it's not like, oh, I only use this one tool. It's
Yeah.
this is what's most important, but I also have to do these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, like, again, not having read the book, I'm not sure where the five come from. Like, I'm sure that he put some time into deciding the five love languages. I'm not sure where they were derived from, or if he had like 20 and he nailed it down to.
You know what? I bet the book would tell us.
I have a feeling if I had read the book, I've answered some of these questions. Then again, I had guests this weekend and I only came up with this question last week. So I didn't have time. I was busy speeding down a hill at high speed.
Yeah, I know. That was a scary hill.
Um, no, it
It's a little
wasn't.
scary. I didn't even have a helmet. I was nervous.
When this is a like a garbage heap in our town, it's like known as the lesser of the two big hills we have. Thank God I didn't take you to the west side, man. Like you would have shit yourself
Probably.
right on top of me. It would have been awesome.
Oh God. No, but you know what? We're exploring. We haven't read the book. No. However, I feel like we're
Oh,
going to. And we're exploring this because not many people, everybody has heard of love languages.
you're saying how not many people have heard of love languages? Is that what you said?
No, many people have heard of love
Okay.
languages, but I'm
Yeah.
sure many people have not read the book or done research into it. They're just like, I know what I like type thing. And I think it's worth exploring a little bit deeper. Like, I highly recommend people take this quiz because it is surprising. It may not be what you think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have thought words of affirmation was I knew it was important to me.
Yeah.
I kind of thought acts of service or quality time would have beat that out. And I'll never
Same.
have receiving gifts on my top because when I'm answering these questions, I'm feeling modest. I'm like, oh, I can't say that I prefer a gift.
I thought of it too. But like I said, the first time I did it, that's what came out because it was all just like, yeah, I like
You
gifts,
know,
gifts, gifts. Then
I
I
like
started
stuff.
thinking, wait a minute.
I do like getting a gift though. And you know what? I think that changes over time because certainly I get less gifts now than I did before I had kids in general.
Okay.
Right? Because your kids become the focus of attention and then you don't, you know, Christmas becomes about watching them open their gifts and that's so much more important. And I love gift buying. Like I love, maybe you don't know this because you're a much better gift buyer to me than I am to you.
What you talking about?
No, for sure. You get me gifts way more often than I get you gifts. You do, and you get me really good gifts. You sent me an incredible Christmas package. I sent you nothing. Every year
Oh,
you
but
send me
see,
good stuff
this is part of why I thought maybe it is gifts that I
because you
like,
enjoy
right?
giving
Because
as
I enjoy
much.
giving as much as getting,
How does
honestly.
Chad feel about that?
Oh, he's great at giving gifts. He gives the best gifts. And
No, he does. You guys are both. You always outdo each other
yeah, we
with the
we we like
gifts.
that part. So I would almost I would like to take the quiz again because I think I'm surprised. I think no, actually, you know what? I think it's right. I think number 3 would be gifts. But I do think gifts and acts of service are very intertwined.
See, I think acts of service, what my perception of it is someone taking something off your plate. That's how I think of it. It's like, okay, we're so busy, we have so much to do, and someone's doing something for you. That's how I think of
Yeah,
it. Is
I see it as
okay, so
that
a big
too.
one for me, a big
Yeah.
act of service for me. The other day I said we always talk in the winter, my car traditionally has always used more windshield wiper than the dude's car.
Okay.
So I made notice, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I said, I've not filled up my windshield wiper once. And he just smiled and said, because I've been doing it this whole time. And that was huge.
Oh,
I know. And that to me was huge because I mean, I don't have a problem doing it myself, but who really like on a cold day opening the hood?
no,
And no,
no.
someone putting in gas into my car or filling my windshield wiper fluid is
Yeah.
very, very valuable to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So but that's not a gift. That's someone doing something to make my life easier. That's how I look at it. A gift is a thing I want or a thing that I didn't know I wanted until I got it.
Yeah, I see them kind of the same.
Mate, do you guys give really practical gifts?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's things, I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but yeah, sometimes it's things we just want for fun, or sometimes it's things like I'll need for
You
crafting, which
guys
is
keep
practical for me.
the Yeti label alive with your gift giving. You guys are always giving each other
Yeah, we
Yetis.
do.
I feel
Yeah,
like you
we
give
like
each other a
Yeti.
lot of Yetis.
Yeah, Yeti's a good brand.
Yeti's welcome to sponsor us at
Yeah,
any time.
please sponsor us, Yeti. I have Yeti mugs, Yeti wine glasses, Yeti
You have
tumblers,
Yeti
ramblers.
everything.
Yeah, coolers.
So back to gifts. So if you're getting
hmm
what would constitute so Chad goes away for business and he comes
Yeah.
back. What can he bring you that makes you just filled with love, the feeling of being loved?
Um, anything, literally anything, because it just reiterates the fact that he was thinking about me.
What if it was a stapler?
Yeah, if it was pink, I'd be happy.
You're so easy to please, my Lord. That's a wonderful thing. And then what about, okay, so physical touch was interesting in that they brought up non-romantic public displays of affection. What are your views on public displays of affection? How do you feel about
I
being touched in
think
public?
I'm going to say that the holding hands, like we'll hold hands when we go out, and that gives me the fuzzies. I love that. I love when we hold hands because I mean, let's face it. We're married 25 years. It's not like we're all over each other every 5 seconds, right? Like, I mean,
It's
it
not
just
what I
doesn't.
noticed on the weekend. It was really hard to pry one and off each other. It was embarrassing, really, for all of us. If you could have a chat with Chad for the next time, if he could keep his hands off you, I'd appreciate it.
The public displays of affection. To me, that's what it is. It's just hold my hand. When we're walking from the car to fucking Walmart or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just little things like that. I'm not one of those people who, and it sends me on a whole new level when I've seen couples that have to touch each other while they're eating.
Oh, I don't
And
like
that
that.
sends
No,
me to
no.
a new level. To me, I don't like that. I'm sorry if I offend anybody out there. If you enjoy that, great. But to
Enjoy
me,
touching your lover
don't
whilst you
touch me when
eat.
I'm eating. Like I'm eating. Get the fuck off me.
Well, I think there's just like, if you watch a couple that is, first of all, let's take new couples off the table because new couples can't help
Yeah, no,
themselves. They
that's
want to
yeah,
touch all
no,
the time. And
that's
that's,
honeymoon
I
phase.
remember it well. It's lovely. I'm all over it. Let's say someone's 8 years into a relationship.
Yeah.
8 years into a relationship. If you need that much touch and it's to the point where it stands out, there's something wrong to me. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I agree.
if you can't be okay being beside a person without having, I'm not talking like have a little hand on your back. That's lovely and that's nice.
Yeah.
But also be okay not being touched.
Exactly.
That tells
Exactly.
that trait that signals to me that someone has a deep anxiety issue. And then if they need that, it's like a support person with them. That's
Yeah.
fine. But it is a little, yeah. And also then you know at some point you're impeding on other people's comfort levels as well. Like when it's overdone,
Yeah.
right? Like if everyone's making out, sure, I think it would quickly become an orgy or something, but sure, join in like when in Rome. But if you're not that I had an orgy in Rome, I just want to qualify that because I have just been to Rome. No orgies were had. But
You
if
want to
you
qualify?
I want to qualify the fact that I did not have an orgy in Rome.
Clarify, do you mean?
I think
Perhaps
qualify is an
clarify.
appropriate word. No, I think you can also qualify, can't you?
I don't think so.
Will an English major please correct one of us? I want to make it clear to all.
Yeah. Clarify.
I really want to say that I can qualify that. Can I not qualify that?
Okay.
Anyhow, the point is that there's a point when you make other people uncomfortable once you cross a certain threshold of physical touch in public. Like, how
Yeah.
comfortable would it have been this weekend if there's two couples and I was like sitting on a lap the whole time?
Yeah.
At some point, I'd been like, ew.
I'd be like, is like your lap not getting hot? Like, are you not gonna like have a hot flash?
Picture that my lap's the one being. That's funny.
Yeah. It's awkward. I've been with couples before who have been like all over each other, and that's just not Chad and I, right? Like it's both of us equally. We don't do that, and it is awkward. It makes the other couple feel like
Should we be doing this?
makes me feel a little like uncomfortable. It's like, why do you have this need to touch constantly? Like there's something deeper there. You know what I mean?
Yes. And can't you just be in the
Like
world
super
without that?
insecure or, yeah.
I think anything can be taken too far, right? And I think you can, if you're always expecting a more elaborate gift than the last, then there's, like this can't, to your earlier point, become the only
Hmm.
way that you show your love, any of these ways, right?
No,
Like it's a combination of
no.
things. It's another tool to help you recognize what someone needs in a certain moment and what will make them if you love your partner, if you love your husband, if you love the person you're with or your children or your mother, you want to know how best to make them feel the love that you feel for them. Right.
Exactly.
And how do you communicate it in a way that they understand? Because the other thing this brings up is that you might be communicating what works for you and it doesn't work for them, and they're never going to necessarily feel the impact that you think you're giving to them, right? If
Yeah.
someone's love language isn't gifts, but that's all that you're doing is buying that person gifts, then it's, like there's a gap there.
Counter. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's not doing anybody any service at that point,
Yeah.
right?
I think so. So maybe, you know, once we read the book, how many
Yeah,
times have
maybe
we said we'll
we'll know
come back
more.
and do a second, we'll do a second episode? I don't think we need to
We've
revisit
got
this, but
season 2 lineup is repeats.
repeats. Okay, what did we say we were going to do? And we'll just do it.
Yeah.
But I do think it opens up an interesting, and I think we will delve more into relationships from the mid and how,
Yeah.
we're at very different points in relationships. That you've been with
Yeah.
someone for 25 years and I've been with someone, what, 6 years, 7 years? I don't know, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So we're at very different points, but mature love is a completely different thing. And I mean mature love in terms of taking that time to think, okay, what motivates this person? Or I'm in the middle of an argument. I'm not going to get all heated up here. I'm going to step back for a
Hmm.
second and think about, like, I think there's interesting lessons to be had in how to
Absolutely.
argue effectively
Yeah.
and how to communicate in a way where you're getting to the point and addressing that vulnerability that you spoke of, right? Like we have to be willing to tackle some of those uncomfortable conversations and be
Yeah.
vulnerable at this point if you want to move forward,
Yeah.
which I think we all do. We all want to deepen. I think, we're in agreement that we want to deepen the relationships we have with everyone at this point
Yeah.
and make them as meaningful as possible. So this is just one tool, I'm sure.
Yep.
that there's
Of
many, many
many.
more. Yeah.
Yep.
But I thought it was an interesting one. I like anything with a quiz too.
Yeah. No, that was super interesting. I was when I did the quiz this morning, I was definitely surprised.
I can't believe we got the exact same.
Yeah, that's shocking. Well, is it shocking though?
That we both need heavy affirmation? I guess not. I guess if you really, and that's the thing, it's like you look at this and then you might be, like, oh, that's surprising to me. But if you read into the deeper words that we haven't read, you might come to find that, yeah, because if you sit and make, like maybe it's something you were lacking as a child, words of affirmation
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense for
makes
both of us, I'd
sense.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll
You're
build you
the
up, Buttercup.
best.
I'll build you up, Buttercup. I will.
Yeah, no, that was a really good one. And I highly recommend anybody out there. I'll actually when we post the podcast, I'll put the link to the quiz
Put the
in the
link.
description.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend that everybody go out there and give this quiz a whirl because it is really interesting.
Well, now it's, our podcast has inspired me to want to read this book. So I'm going to get this book and I'm going to
Yeah,
give it a whirl and
absolutely.
see if it deepens any of my understanding around that and how I can be a better friend, a better partner.
Yeah.
But even at work, though, I would like to know, it's interesting. I wouldn't go and say, please show me your love language to my employees because that could go
No,
horribly wrong.
no, but there are ways.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know what their values are so that, or not their values, but how they best receive information, right? Or how
Yeah,
best to recognize them when they've done something outstanding or whatever it might be.
that's it.
Anyhow, so that kind of wraps it up for that topic. And
Yeah.
then next week we've been teasing our guest. We haven't been teasing our guest, but we've been teasing the fact that we have a guest. We would never tease our guest.
Tease
Our
our
guest is
guests. No.
lovely. So yeah, that'll be another.
Yeah. So no question next week. It'll be a discussion with our guest, our special
Yeah.
guest.
And then we have a March guest as well, all lined up. Look at us lining up guests.
I know.
Like the Jay Leno show.
Jay Leno show.
I don't even like Jay Leno. I don't even know where that came from. I don't like him. Like person, baby.
Yeah. So do we.
That'll be good. Our guest just messaged us. Tell me she's not backing out. Imagine that.
No,
Oh no, she sent me a podcast
something,
link. Thank
yeah.
God. Whew,
Yeah,
good
I got
Lord.
it too.
Oh, wow. That was titillating what she just sent me. All right.
Okay.
She sent me a really interesting podcast. She didn't send me a nude or anything like that. That'd be really inappropriate. Whoa.
So next week it'll just be Teresa and our guest.
Naked. Maybe just do the housekeeping and get me out of this thing.
All right. If you have any questions, comments, or anything you just want to say, you can email us. Yeah. Email us at themidconversations@gmail.com. Instagram and YouTube. Instagram and YouTube. Our handle is at @themid_podcast. And the handle for our Facebook page is @midpodcast. And our website is themidconversations.wixsite.com/podcast. Please go over to our website and subscribe, and you will get an email notification when we release an episode. Oh, we have a question.
Oh, well then let's please answer it.
We almost missed that. Okay.
Did we?
Our question.
Did we almost miss it? Because I don't actually get these questions.
I almost missed
so that's, yeah, okay.
So really quickly,
yes,
to tie this episode up, this is actually a question from our first special guest, Anya. And she wants to know, what day in your life would you like to relive?
Oh, see, I've thought about this. It's for me not a day, but a time in my life. Like if I could go back, and this is probably an empty nesting thing, I would go back and relive a day when my kids were a specific age. But it's not like a day that stands out that I would like, that something happened that I can remember. It's that I would like to relive a day where, maybe it is a specific day, but it's kind of meshed in my brain around a certain age group where I have a picture of the three of them at a specific age when we were in High Park. I don't know if that day was specifically the best day ever or if they were annoying and terrible or whatever it was. But I think back to that time and I
Mhm.
would kill to go and have one more day at
Oh,
that
that's so
age.
nice. That's lovely.
Is it?
No,
Your voice isn't that convincing.
it is. It's
Is
lovely.
it?
I'm just feeling a little guilty for mine.
Oh, when you got a gift? A day when you got a gift?
No. The day I opened up, no. For me, it's and to this day is probably my one of my favorite memories ever with Chad. And it was, oh my God, I don't even know what year, but we weren't married too long. And we went camping at Momagantic, but we did a hiking camping. We had to hike to our campsite with like 90 pounds on each of our backs. And then we get to the campsite, we forgot coffee. So we had to hike back
Yeah.
and go to the store, get coffee, and then hike again. So the first day we did like 18 kilometers just, and then
Did
then
you
we did a
hike back
wonderful.
with, sorry, now
No, no,
my
no, no,
detailed brain.
no,
Okay. Okay.
no, no,
With
no.
your
We went there,
back. You could have
dropped the load, and
unpacked.
then yeah, and then the next day it was Thanksgiving weekend, and the next day we hiked up to the top of the mountain, and it was just epic. It was the best hike I'd ever seen. It was just wonderful, and it was so terrible though that we left a day early because it was so cold, and it was just chaos from the second we got there. But it was just so fun. You know what I mean? Like it was just an experience, and I always remember it. And it was my favorite day. Like it was
Just
just
the two of
wonderful. My
you?
favorite weekend. Yeah,
Oh,
just the
that's
two of us. And
nice.
on the way back, our legs were so sore.
But you had a
He went to
great
gas
time.
up the car, opens the car door, and all I see is whoosh, him fall down because his legs gave out. It was hilarious. But yeah, no, that's the day I think I'd like to go back and revisit.
And that isn't something that should bring guilt to you because we're just at very different places, right? Like I haven't had my kids at home for a little while, so I'm feeling a little weepy about that. I'm going through
Mm-hmm.
that stage, but
Yeah.
that's a beautiful memory. Thanks for sharing one.
Yeah.
Good question, Anya. I like it.
Yeah, that was a good question. Thank you.
Keep the questions coming. I love the questions.
And don't forget to rate us on Spotify, please, and follow us wherever you can.
Maybe not on this episode, but rate us in general. All right, Wen, we did it again.
All right. We
Episode
did it
11 in
again.
the can.
Yep. It's done. Done and
Until
dusted.
next week.
Yep. And stay tuned. Next week, we do have our special guest, and it's going to be a really great conversation. It's going to be a deep
It's
one.
not going to be
but
light. Yeah, it's
really
not
good.
going to be a
No.
light conversation.
No.
Just anyone who only likes our frivolous conversations. This is a deeper dive for
It
sure.
may not. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it's going to be great. Important issues to talk about for
That's
sure.
right. That's right. That's what we're here for.
That's it.
You've been listening to The Mid.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The mid.